Hey everyone, it's Chad from Wild Society. I wanted to answer several questions that we keep getting from you all that people have emailed us or texted us or messaged us or have come over to one of our houses and knocked on our door and asked us, which is creepy. Stop doing that. The first question that we get a lot is, what is a podcast? I really don't know what a podcast is, to be honest with you. I assume they took that from the word broadcast and then just switched it out with pod. I don't really know what pod means. All I know is that I just sit here and talk into a microphone. Uh, do you have to listen to previous episodes? No. The podcast that we do is not like the podcast that kind of have a running storyline through each episode. So you don't have to listen to episode 1 to know what's going on in episode 5. You can start on 3 or 4. We don't care. There's no rules when it comes to that. And actually, episode 1 was kind of awkward because it was our first one. And we really didn't know what we were doing. And we really still don't know what we're doing. How do you listen to a podcast? That's actually a good question because I actually didn't really start listening to podcasts till a few years ago. If you have an iPhone, you should have an Apple Podcast button on like an app on your phone. So you should be able to just find it that way. It might be hidden in like a entertainment app button or something like that. If you can't find it, you can probably just go to your app store and download it from there. If you have another phone, I'm sure you just go to your app store and type in like podcasts. It's like Stitcher or Google something. I don't know. Google it. Where do you record your podcast? We record them in this room, actually. I usually sit over there. I'm pointing, but you don't know what that is. And then Jordan usually sits there. I'm recording, usually sits, where she's always like, oh my God, it's so cool. And then Bethany sits over there and she yells things at us as we record. So we record in our house. That's why when I was answering the podcast question, I don't know the answer to that because I literally just come home and I sit into a chair and talk into a microphone. How do you pick your stories? Well, sometimes we're covering stories that we have had some kind of crush sounds weird, but maybe we've been fascinated with. And so as soon as we started doing this, we kind of started saying, I want to do this one. We have this little file that we use where we just kind of write things down. And then sometimes we know we want to do something on a topic, and then we just kind of research to see what we can find. Oh, look, I'm wearing Wild Society. Just happen to have this on. How do you decide to do one episode a week? So all of our episodes are probably about an hour and a half-ish or less, but recording them takes a few hours because we usually have about 2 or 3 breaks while we're recording. And then Bethany spends like her whole day the next day editing them. So doing 2 a week would probably be too much, but we do love doing them. And actually we're going to have bonus episodes out occasionally, including the week of Halloween. Are you going to cover this story / have you heard of this story? We've been getting a lot of good story ideas from you guys the last few weeks, and sometimes the answer is no. We didn't know about a story, so we're going to be covering a lot coming up that you guys have been sending us, including one in my hometown of Melvindale that Molly sent me in that I'd never heard of before. It involves a secret society where they actually know who the killer is, they think, but they don't know how to find her. Did the woman in episode 2 really do yoga on your porch? Yes. Nobody believed that story, but it was true. She did yoga on our porch and she would not leave the house. But she eventually left the house. And the final question, who's the best looking?